On Tuesday, you were given an independent practice assignment. It looks like what you see on my screen. And if you were with me in our Google Meet, I showed that to you and I told you to be very careful about making sure you completed the correct independent practice assignment. So you'll see I've highlighted that for you. It was using this code in Mastery Connect. Again, it was labeled as Tuesday's independent practice. This is the one that was expected. And it's okay, Wes. I just wanted you to know why your name wasn't in that box. Today we are going to check our work, but I want to tell you that out of everyone that has joined, only 15 out of 30 people completed this assignment. Now, maybe some of you have technology trouble and you're able to join with me in the Google Meet, but you're unable to do the practice. But maybe some of us are just making unwise choices and not using these choices to increase our average in the best way. So I want to give a special thank you, a special shout out to the following students. These are the 15 people that completed this assignment in the appropriate amount of time. That means they did it on Tuesday when I asked them to. Will, Maya, Gage, Marley, Angelina, Detavia, Sarah Barton, Avani, Cam, Jordan, Harper, AJ, Alicia, Elena Brooke, Emma, and Sam. Now, Wes, you were not here with us in our Google meeting, and you completed the wrong assignment. So that's why you don't see your name in the blue box. So right now, I would like for everyone to send one emoji in the chat bar. This is like a shout out. And it needs to be a positive emoji. Once again, thank you to the students that you see I've typed in that blue box because these students followed expectations about the independent practice. And I have some students that have done so well, they've added several very high scores to their average. So they're doing what they should do during this time to grow. And then some of us are doing the practices. I want you to be careful about your answers and use these opportunities and just do your best. Thank you, Will. All right, so now that we've talked about that data, I want us to go over the practice that was assigned on Tuesday. And you're going to notice I'm going to do this pretty quickly so that we can move into today's lesson. You read two passages labeled Passage 1 and Passage 2. And then you were asked to think about some answers to these questions. Question 1 says, why does the main character in both stories leave home? You can see the best answer was A. I'm going to give you a moment to kind of look at that one. This was not a commonly missed one. So if I'm going faster on certain questions, it's because most of us did well on it. Now, number 2, you're going to see a star beside. The majority of my class, the students that participated, chose B. This is the distractor. The best answer was A. One must help a friend in need. Notice the question says, which of these is a theme that both passages have in common? Now, I'm noticing B says one can learn in a long journey. That is true, but in the second text, and I'm showing that to you now, it tells us in this text, here, at the end of her journey, she asked all the people she met. So when we're thinking about did she learn something, she did. Let's look at this text though. Passage 1. As I'm looking at this, it says, he walked all across the country asking everyone for help, and they gave him many good ideas. None of them worked though, and Throvod was forced to travel all the way back home. So because of that, I do not believe B is the strongest answer. However, A says one must help a friend in need. In both of them, that is a lesson that is stronger. So I want you to know why many of us missed that one. And I agree, those were two close answers. But if we went back to the text, I think it's clear that A is stronger than B. And B is that distractor. Okay, let's look at number 3. The topic, notice how it says of the second passage, so I had to go back to the text, is building things. Notice how that's not a theme. And on Tuesday, we talked about the difference between topic and theme. Number 4, how is the myth in passage 1 different from the folktale? You can see the best answer is A. Passage 1 explains a natural event, and passage 2 does not. So comparing and contrasting that. You then read about 2 new characters. Question 5. Both passage 1 and passage 2 are both about a contest. Everybody got that one. Giving my screen just a moment to upload for you. Number 6, in passage 2, the person who got the mule to move would get to keep the mule, while in passage 1, the person who broke through the wall would win the kingdom, and that was found right there in the text. Question 7, the theme of both is B. Cleverness is sometimes more effective than strength, and most of us did a very good job on question 7. You were then asked to read about 2 new texts. Question 8, the best answer, Bridget decides to help Anders even though she will be late to school. But in passage 2, the best answer was A. I'm giving you a moment to read that. Number 9, which of these themes is in passage 2 but not in passage 1? The best answer was B, one's family is important. Number 10, a major theme in both of these passages is B, helping someone who needs you. And that ended Tuesday's independent practice. Now, guys, I try to make sure that when I assign these, that I do not give you too much work. I think it's at a reasonable amount, appropriate amount. It's not, it doesn't take you a lot of time, but I want to encourage you that if you're not doing these independent assignments, or if you are not doing your best on them, to change that expectation and have higher expectations for yourself, because this is something you can accomplish and it's a great opportunity to grow. Let's go ahead and look at what we're doing today, what our focus is for today. So please use your chat bar to fill in the blank. Today I'm using 2 texts so that I can blank themes or topics. I'll know I've got it if I can determine how the themes or topics of 2 texts are similar and different. And I'm noticing several people have typed the word compare, and I can see who's focused. So compare is what we're focused on, comparing specifically the themes or topics. As we think about the reason why we're focused on this, I want to remind you of our data. You can see for RL49 on our case assessment, many of us were in yellow, or because our data shows that we need more practice, that's why we're taking time to go back to this in our virtual learning setting. Now today we're going to start with a game. We're going to open a second tab. We're not going to end the Google Meet, but we're going to open a second tab to play this game. Remember, if you have technology trouble in any way, you'll simply use the chat bar if you can. Now Quizlet is set up a little bit differently, so if you face frustration with that, you can simply listen and be patient, but I would like to see as many that can join in a second tab as we warm up our brains on today's lesson topic. Excellent job on that Quizlet Live as we warm up our brains today. Very good, warming up on the difference between compare and contrast and themes and topics. On Tuesday of this week, we looked at what is theme, and I want to remind you that you have these notes in your interactive notebook to help you. So today, as you solve your independent practice assignment, I want to encourage you to use that as a tool to help you. I want to also make sure that you know there is a difference between theme and topic, and we're going to look closer at the difference of those things in just a moment. What I want us to focus in on today is this fact, that good readers compare and contrast topics, events, and themes in traditional literature. And when we do that, guys and girls, when we understand the difference and similarities, then we can make a connection not only to the characters and the events, but also the area where that piece of literature might have come from, which can tell us more about the world around us. So these are some important things. We can also learn lessons that we can apply to our life, because that is the definition of a theme. So it's important for us to understand the importance of not only being a good reader, but how we can apply these things to our own life. I do want to give a couple of students an option. These are students that were in mastery on this skill when we took our case assessment. Now, I went back and looked at our data from this quizzes on Tuesday. Many of us didn't finish it or we didn't do well. So these students, Zyra Will, Amy Leo, Marley, Sarah Barton, Avani, Alexia, India, Alicia, and Caroline, you have an option of leaving the Google Meet tab open and also doing this quizzes as you listen to me in the background. For anyone else, you can do this at a later time, but it is optional. It is not the independent practice. Notice how I've boxed that in blue to show you that assignment, and it is free choice. If your name is not on this screen, please do not click this. Instead, focus with me because your data shows that you need some extra examples, and that's okay because that's what learning is all about. Today we're going to start with a new text. I want you to notice, just based on the titles, it looks like these might be from a different place, and I'm noticing that the author even tells me that they are from different locations. Now, I'm noticing that some of these names might be kind of challenging. So I want to give you guys kind of a tip when you're reading. If you can't pronounce the name in the text, that's okay. You can plug in any name. So I could say Joseph's name there, or I could put my own name in, Miss Daniel. But what I don't want is the name to cause me frustration so much to where I can't understand what I'm reading. So I'm going to try to pronounce that name as I model for you today, but that's just a tip that can help you as a reader in the future. So as we're reading, we're going to be thinking about words and phrases that help me with the theme because that's our focus. Remember that the theme is the moral, the message, the lesson of the story. It's what I can apply to my own life. It's how I can grow as a person as well. So let's go ahead and look at the first one. This first text is a folk tale from Italy. So I have to know that as a reader that often, because it's from a different place around the world, it might be kind of strange to me as a reader because it's not from New Albany, Mississippi. So there's going to be some things in there that maybe are different. It might also be old. And so let's go ahead and dig in. Use your chat bar to fill in my blank, which means that you have to focus on the text and be ready. All right, here we go. Giudice and the Princess, a folk tale from Italy. Many, many years ago, as Giudice, the village fool, strolled by the castle, he noticed a beautiful princess standing near a blank. Upon hearing her lovely laugh, Giudice whispered, "May you fall in love with me." And I'm noticing Emma and Angelina and Sarah Barton said window. As usually occurs, the princess fell in love with him immediately. Paragraph 2. Learning of their feelings, the ancient king became terribly embarrassed. He consulted his advisor, saying, "My daughter is in love with a fool. You are wise, so tell me how I should punish this shame." Put them both into a wooden barrel and roll it over a cliff, they answered. "Oh no. Then you will never see him again." At once the king commanded it to be blank. That seems pretty harsh. Let's look at paragraph 4. Good job filling in my blank. Done. And Marley, I'm noticing you had some technology trouble. If you can't get in, it's okay. It's optional. Paragraph 4. As the barrel rolled along, Giudice cried, "Let me out! I'll reward you with figs and raisins." So saying, he threw handfuls of the luscious fruit out a hole in the barrel. Then, coming to a level spot, the barrel stopped rolling. Giudice broke it open, and the pair climbed out. So remember at the beginning when I told you that there's probably going to be some things in the text that are different? Well, that's something to me that's different. First of all, that they're punishing them by putting them in a wooden barrel and pushing them down a hill. And then secondly, that he's trying to convince them to stop with figs and raisins. Most of us probably wouldn't be very excited about the option of having figs and raisins. So these are things that are different in the culture where we live and in today's time period. Let's look at paragraph 5. Coincidentally, a nearby frog saw this, and she laughed so hard that a wart on her neck disappeared. Happy to carry less weight, the frog called to Juvity. What is your wish? I can do anything and everything. Allow me to do something amazing for you. Quickly, Juvity replied, We wish to be married, but we have no place to live. Kindly build us a humble blank. And I'm noticing Sarah Barton said cottage. Good job. So pretty much this frog has offered to help them, and they've asked the frog to build them a house, which is another word for cottage. Paragraph 7. Just as quickly, the frog responded, Watch as I turn this pebble into a palace. With all the comforts of the world. Suddenly a sparkling palace appeared out of thin air, and Juvity and the princess entered it through its glittering gates. The princess loved Juvity, but she also knew him very well. Soon, she said, I will indeed marry you, but first we must find a wish that will drive out your stupidity. Wow. Remember, he's considered to be very foolish. Juvity just grinned because he loved her more than ever. Now, as we finish this section of the text, I want you to notice how I've circled some things and underlined some things that help us understand more about the text. I've underlined the details that help us understand the story's topic. So take a moment to look at those annotation marks, those things I've circled and underlined. We're going to need those in a few minutes. So let's see what happens next. Now this text, you're going to notice that it kind of ends there, kind of leaving us hanging. We don't really know what happened next. All we know is that it ends with, he loved her more than ever, even though she said we got to find a way to make you wiser. So now let's see what this next one is about. This one is called Hans and the Princess. This is a folktale from Germany. So once again, there might be some things in it that might be different to my own culture. But this tells me more about their culture. Let me refresh my screen so that we can read this text better. Fill in my blanks, starting with paragraph 1. A king wished to know whom his daughter would marry. He sent his favorite dog to find her future husband. The dog dragged back Hans and the stupid village fool. Okay, so I'm already noticing a connection between. Notice that connection. In this text, there's also a village fool. So someone known to be not very wise. The embarrassed king put the princess and Hans in a casket and set them out to blank. The princess cried out, You horrible fool! How is it that you are my future husband? Good. I'm noticing that Sam wrote C, so they were thrown into the sea because the king was so embarrassed. Wow. Paragraph 3. I wished for it, said Hans. All my wishes come true. If that is so, she said, then wish us something to eat. So Hans wished for a plate of potatoes, which she devoured. Hans said then, I wish for a grand ship. I'm going to begin with paragraph 2. It looks like we had a connection problem. Paragraph 2. The embarrassed king put the princess and Hans in a casket and set them out to sea. The princess cried out, You horrible fool! How is it that you are my future husband? I wished for it, said Hans. All my wishes come true. If that is so, she said, then wish us something to eat. So Hans wished for a plate of potatoes, which she blank. Hans then said, "I wish for a grand ship." They appeared on a proud vessel, fully crewed and forging back to land. So far, all of his wishes have come true. Good job on filling in the blank. The word was devoured. Upon reaching shore, Hans declared, "Here there shall be a castle." "And within it shall dwell the princess and her handsome, intelligent husband." Upon saying this, a castle appeared, and Hans became handsome and smart. The princess and Hans fell in love, married, and lived happily. Years later, and I'm on paragraph 7. Years later, the princess's father was out riding and stumbled upon the castle. The king did not recognize his daughter, but she knew him. She treated him well, but before he left, she hid a golden cup in his pocket. The princess then accused him of having stolen the cup. The king protested that he did not know how the cup had come into his blank. The princess said, "Do you see now how it feels to be treated unfairly?" She revealed herself as his daughter and forgave him. The king named the princess and Hans as his heirs. And I'm thinking about the context clues around it. Named them as something? Let's keep going and see if we can find out more. Upon the king's death, Hans and the princess became king and queen. Okay, so I'm thinking about this word air, and I'm noticing it's not spelled the same as the air we breathe. I'm also noticing it says, upon the king's death, Hans and the princess became king and queen. Using these context clues, I'm thinking that an heir must be someone born in a family left to receive those things. So you might have the king, and then the king might have a son and a daughter known as the prince and the princess. They would receive what's left behind. So I'm noticing that heir means someone that's born in their lineage or their family. Okay, thank you for filling in my blank on that. We've had to reconnect. So now that we've broken down these two texts, let's go ahead and think about a common theme that we can learn. You're going to help me with these questions as we look at question 1 today. Which of the following statements is a theme expressed by both folk tales? Please do not answer in the chat bar until you hear my code word. A, putting your trust in a fool is a bad idea. So we're thinking about, is that theme taught in both? B, love can overcome unexpected challenges. C, children should listen to the wisdom of their parents. Or D, hard work is what helps even fools succeed. In a moment, I'm going to give us our code word for today, and today's code word is PJs. And when you hear that code word, once again, make sure you notice the best answer before you click in, choosing which of the following statements is a theme expressed in both folktales. So we're not choosing one that's not found in both of them. In about 5 seconds, you're going to hear me say the code word, and then you'll type either answer A, B, C, or D in the chat bar. Ready in 3, 2, 1, PJs. I'm noticing that we have some different answers. Most of us are either choosing B or D. B says love can overcome unexpected challenges. D, hard work is what helps even fools succeed. I want you to know that the very best answer to this one is B. You can see small on your screen, I've revealed that. B is the strongest answer. D is the distract. I do not think the characters in both texts had to work hard, making B, love can overcome unexpected challenges, the strongest answer. And I'm noticing a lot of us chose that. So now let's go ahead and look at question 2. So now we're going to think about comparing the events. And the events are important when we're thinking about theme. If we don't know the events, then we can't determine the challenges the characters face, which also means that we can't determine the lesson. So I'm thinking about which text has a frog that helps a fool. Using your chat bar, if it is Juvity and the Princess, if that's where the X mark goes, I would like for you to type a 1 wait for my code word. And if it is text 2, I would like for you to type a 2. If it is both, you will simply type the word both. You might need that as we go through. Ready in 5, 4, 3. Which one has a frog? 2 and 1. PJs. I'm noticing a lot of people saying the first text. Let's see if you're right. Good job. A frog helps a fool in Juvity and the Princess. So, in which text has a fool who marries a princess? Get ready in about 3 seconds. Ready in 2, ready in 1, and PJs. I'm noticing several people have answered. The best answer to this one is both. Both of them. Okay, now the next one is a king is embarrassed. So think about, is that in Juvity and the Princess, Hans and the Princess, or both? A king is embarrassed. Ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, PJs. Seeing some answers. People are saying both. I want you to know you are correct if you chose both. Okay, in which text is a golden cup found in a pocket? Ready in 5, ready in 4, ready in 3, 2, PJs. Ooh, I see a lot of people choosing the second text. The best answer is the second text, Hans and the Princess. Now I'm thinking about which text has a fool who rescues a princess. Get ready in 5, ready in 4, in 3, 2, and 1. PJs. I'm noticing a lot of people saying text 2. Some people are saying 1. Some people are saying I'm not sure. A fool rescues a princess. Let's check our best answer. This one happened in both texts. And lastly, a princess and a fool live happily ever after. Think. Get ready in about 5 seconds. Ready in 3, ready in 2, and PJs. I'm noticing a lot of people are saying I'm not sure, or number 1. The best answer is both in this one. They both live happily ever after. I want you to notice this is a great reminder. It says many details in the stories are similar, but Hans and the Princess has a different ending. Think about how Hans and the Princess provides an additional theme. So there was an extra theme found in Hans and the Princess that was not found in Juvity and the Princess. Thank you for your feedback, Harper, and I'm sorry you're having trouble today. All right. So you guys are going to be I'm going to be checking your understanding through your independent practice assignment today. And as you complete this assignment, I need everyone to do their best. I need everyone to complete it, and I need everyone to understand it's an expectation, and I'm trusting you to do your very best job. So don't get confused on this, guys. It's not the quiz is. Notice that on your screen. It is Thursday's independent practice. It has today's date, 4/23. It is in Mastery Connect. I do want you guys to notice when you click on it, it will give you a code. You can see me modeling that, and those are always found in Mastery Connect. They're always found in Google Classroom. So I've had a couple of people concerned about, I need to write it down now. You can do that, but it's also posted for you in Google Classroom. It's also in our Communication Hub document, so that it's in that same place where we can find all information. I do want to remind you as we conclude today that tomorrow is Fun Day Friday. We're doing some awesome things on Friday. We're playing Quizlet to review vocabulary. We're also in the middle of a chapter book study called Holes. On Friday, we have an opportunity to have a great time, and I'm also doing character lessons. So please join me tomorrow. And I think there's been some confusion about some students are not joining because they thought it was optional. I think it is optional for Miss Broom's class, but I want to encourage all students to participate with me on Fridays. And I also want to give Miss Jennifer an opportunity to say hello and speak to us now. So Miss Jennifer, if you'll do that now, I will take my screen off.